Okay, hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lizzie and today I'm going to be doing an April TBR. So unfortunately I don't have any of my physical books with me. I didn't think this one through. I went home like towards the end of this past month and I brought all of my books home with me because I read them. So I was like, I don't need to keep them at school, and then I forgot I was making this video. So we're here. So it's just me. I apologize. It's not as interesting, but some of these book covers are beautiful, so I definitely recommend looking them up. I would put them on the screen, but I just don't think I'm that talented yet, so we'll work on that. Maybe I'll try. If I can, that's great. If not, let's not be shocked. Okay, so I read 6 books this month, and it was a pretty good reading month, especially considering I'm in school and all of that, so I was really happy I was able to even read that much. But yeah, so we're just gonna dive right in. The first book I read was The War of Two Queens, which was the 4th installment of the From Blood and Ash World book series, and it was really good. I rated it 5 stars, which was pretty generous, and I know there was a lot of mixed reviews on this book, but the ending was really great. I really liked there was multiple POVs or dual POV, which I really enjoyed. And our main character, Poppy, she just really came into her own in this book. She was definitely like, from the very beginning, has grown as a character immensely, but being without other characters involved, I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone if you haven't read it or if you're in the middle of the series. But she has definitely come into her own, especially without all of the other characters being involved. That's all I'm gonna say. I know there was a lot of mixed talk about this book. It was definitely more high fantasy than it was romance fantasy, which I feel like the first 2 books really were. But as the series has progressed, I feel like it's definitely become more high fantasy. And a heads up, the beginning is a little slow and got a little repetitive. But again, the ending, and once it picks up, like I think it's like a 1/4 of the way through, it starts really picking up, and it's just like really great throughout the rest. But again, if you aren't really into that high fantasy, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if you would like love it. So I know there are a lot of people who are choosing to not continue the series, but I just thought it was really good. And again, 5 stars. The second book I read, which I actually forgot about until I was looking at this because I read such a small amount of it actually this month, was Scarlet Angel, which is the 3rd book in the Mindfuck series. So it's split up into 5 different books, but I think you can read it as one whole storyline. So it's like 100 to 200 pages per book, so they're really, really short. And I started reading this book last month in March, like the beginning of March, and then I went on spring break and kind of forgot about it until this month when I came back and I was reading it. I had like 30 pages left, so I don't really remember too much of the plot, and I haven't written about it in my reading journal, so that's kind of sucks. But it was good. It follows the main protagonist. Basically, she is a revenge serial killer, and she falls for an FBI agent boyfriend who happens to like sort of be working on her case as well, and so she's like hiding that from him while also like seeking revenge on this town for what they did to her family. And I don't really want to say a lot because I don't know if there's like multiple ways the book is split or if this is just how I'm reading it. But I also saw if you order, I think, the physical book on Amazon, like the physical paperback, I was reading it on Kindle Unlimited, but if you order it on paperback, I think it comes as one whole book. So I'm sort of confused about that. Not 100% sure, but the female protagonist is fantastic. She is a badass. So yeah, definitely recommend that. I rated it 3 stars. I think I rated the rest of the books in that series 3 stars as well. But yeah, super good, really fast paced because they're short books, but really entertaining as well. And then the next book I read was Kingdom of the Wicked, and then I also followed that with Kingdom of the Cursed. And I rated both of these 3 stars. I was disappointed by them. I think I had hyped them up so much because I had heard such great things about it that it almost like ruined it for me when I was reading it. During the first whole book, I just kind of kept waiting for it to like pick up. I didn't feel like our main character was like Like, I didn't feel like Amelia was, I don't know, I didn't feel like she was like that great. I kind of felt like she made a lot of stupid decisions, and I was just kind of like, ooh, every time she like made a choice that you just, as the reader, I just felt it was like really obvious to not make. And then I didn't like Wrath, and I know everyone was like in love with him, and I get it, he's hot. The way they described him, beautiful. But he didn't say anything. Like, he didn't do anything in the first book except for like one little thing that was just like a common like human decency sort of thing. I don't know. But it was still good, and I love the concept of the story is fantastic. Like, I was describing it to my mom because she unfortunately has to listen to all my book rants because none of my other friends are like really into reading, and she was like, this sounds like a great book, and I'm like, it is, but the delivery is just, it's just off. And even in the second book, I have to say, like, there were certain points where it was really like there was a lot happening, or like a super cool, interesting like build up, or like just a lot going on, and I just felt like it was skipped over, or it was like a couple pages and there was just so much filler. I don't know. I felt like the two books also could have been combined. So I'm not sure I'll read the last book. I feel like I have to just know how the story ends because the second book did kind of leave off on an interesting cliffhanger, but I also feel like you sort of saw it coming. So yeah, but I rated both those 3 stars. They were still good. The delivery was off, in my opinion. And I know like a lot of people loved that. And maybe it was because it was so hyped up that I just like was let down from it. So maybe that was my fault. But yeah. The next book that I read, though, was my favorite read of the month and was actually another 5-star read. And it was The King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. Now, I didn't even know Scarlett St. Clair was like starting a new series. I read her Hades and Persephone, the 3 books that have been out so far. And then I know she's doing a Hades POV, but I just was like looking on Kindle and browsing Barnes and Noble, and I saw this and I was like, how did I miss this was by her? And so I read it and I loved it. Like, from page 1 was so good. Our main character is such a badass. I can't pronounce her name to save my life, so I'm not even gonna try. It's gonna just be a really sad attempt. If you know how to pronounce it, leave that in the comments because I don't even know how to go about starting pronouncing it, unless it's a really simple name that's like embarrassing that I don't know how. But the boyfriend in this book, or he's not a boyfriend, it's forced marriage, or it's marriage, arranged marriage, forced proximity, and enemies to lovers, and it is fantastic. Adrian, oh my god, top book boyfriend, y'all. Just everything about that man is fantastic, and I loved, they had great banter, and she was really badass and like didn't put up with his shit, but like he was great. Like, he didn't like just take it, but he did, but in a good way. Like, not like I'm just kind of giving up and letting her do her thing, but like, yeah. And there's so much more to their story, and slowly as it progresses, I feel like they kind of hint at it and you can kind of guess when you finally get to that point. But it's just so good. And the second installment, I don't know if it's a series or if it's just a duology, but it comes out in December and I am so excited for it. So I read it on my Kindle, and I think I'm gonna buy the physical books just to have in my library. But yeah, so that was that book. And then the very last book I read this month was Hunting Adaline, which is part of the duology. I'm pretty sure the duology is called Haunting Adaline, and that was the first book in the series, which, if you read that, it was a lot. It's a very dark romance book. That's all I have to say. And it still was in this second book, but the second book definitely had a lot more plot. I do not think it's for the faint of heart, and this second book definitely brought up a lot more of heavy topics. So definitely just look up trigger warnings. It is not for everybody. I did rate it 3 stars. There were a lot of 3-star reads this month, I guess. But I thought it was good. I enjoyed their story, like how it ended. I felt like it ended on a really good note for like everything considered. And again, strong female character lead who just really took charge of her own life, which I loved. But definitely not for the faint of heart, and look up information about that book because, yeah. So those were all my reads of the month. Hopefully next month I will be smart and I will have all of my books, so this will be more entertaining for my May wrap up. But I also have a May TBR, either it's posted or it's going to be posted, so definitely check that out. And if you like this video, please let me know. Let me know what you read in April, or if you read any of these books, your thoughts, if you were also like disappointed or surprised, or if you hated something. I would love all opinions. I know that my opinions are different from others, and that is totally fine. And if I didn't like your book, I'm sorry. Also leave recommendations and let me know what you'd like to see next. I was thinking about doing some reading vlogs. I'm gonna end the Shatter Me series this month, I think, this upcoming month. So I was thinking about doing a reading vlog on that or on Crescent City. Let me know what you guys would like to see. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.